What is up guys, Stark here. In today's video I'm taking a look at the final unit in the Fate Excel Zero Order batch, and that is going to be Hassan of 100 Personas. So she is one of the assassins from Fate Zero, and there's a whole bunch of them, and I think we have one of them in the game already as a 3-star servant, and she's also a 3-star servant. I don't know if we have the other one or not, I can't remember. I don't think we do, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, Hassan is an assassin and a 3-star like I said, and they will go up to level 70, and at level 70 they will have 6,686 attack, and they will have 9,310 HP. I can't help but feel like they should have 6,666 attack, but you know, that's just, I think that would have just been funny if they would have had, you know, straight 6s. Anyway, they're gonna rank 83rd overall in attack and 77th overall in HP. You know, it's pretty solid for a 3-star servant, but you really can't expect too much better for a servant like this, especially for an assassin that's not really going to focus on doing like too much damage based on stats. If you do decide to max them out though, they will end up with 11,049 attack and 14,623 HP. So moving on here to their servant skills, first up is the Librarian of Wisdom C. This will increase normal Phantasm accumulation for 3 turns, and it will also increase the critical star drop rate for 3 turns. This is a self buff, but it's not a bad skill honestly. It's a pretty solid skill. It's definitely different with a noble Phantasm accumulation. So that's going to be a 10% increase at level 1 and a 20% increase at level 10. And then for the critical star drop rate, it's going to be 20% at level 1 and 40% at level 10. Moving on to their second skill, it's going to be the 100 Specialization A+. Now this has a chance to increase Buster card, Arts cards, and Quick cards effectiveness by 30% for 3 turns. They all act independently, so you can get all 3 of them, you can get none of them, you can get 1 of them. You know, it's you know, just random chance. I'm not a huge fan of these skills, but it will also apply evasion for 1 turn. So even if you fail on all 3 of the bonuses, which you're gonna get at least 1 of them every single time you use it. But you know, even on the off chance you do fail, you're going to get that evasion for 1 turn. So that's really nice. And the Buster card, you know, increase is, or for any of them, it's going to be 60% level 1 and 80% at level 10. So, you know, it's really good. It's a really good increase. And if you can get them off, you definitely want to get the Arts one off the most. But, you know, Quick is still pretty good. The Buster one isn't going to help you that much. But, you know, if you do get that Buster card, it's, you know, it'll be helpful for that turn. But you're definitely looking for the Arts or the Quick. Moving on here to her third and final skill is going to be the Battle Retreat B. This will restore HP, but it will also remove all buffs on this character. So this is a bit of a puzzling skill. I'm not really sure what they were going for with it, because yeah, the HP healing is nice, but you're going to remove all your buffs. So you kind of have to wait and use this when you don't have any buffs on the character, otherwise you're going to be sacrificing those for healing. So I guess, you know, it makes sense if you need to like use it as a last ditch effort to survive, but honestly in a situation like that I would rather just go for the damage and sacrifice the character than sacrifice my buffs to survive 1 turn and just do less damage anyway. So moving on to the class skills, she only has 1, and that's going to be the Presence Concealment A. This will increase critical star drop rate by 10%. So now moving on to the Ascension and skill enhancements. So you're going to need dusts, you're going to need the serpent jewels, crystals, and the oil. And then for skill enhancements, you're going to need crystals, dusts, bones, and the talons. So now for the command cards and the noble Phantasm. They have 2 Quick, 2 Arts, and 1 Buster. So you can use them in Quick and Arts teams. You do primarily want to focus using Hassan on Arts teams because of the way this character works. And I haven't really mentioned it because we haven't gotten there yet. But since we're at her noble Phantasm now, it's going to be an Arts card, and it's going to deal significant damage to a single enemy, and then on the overcharge it will decrease critical hit rate for 3 turns. So for this character, you're basically going to be making a team centered around spamming this noble Phantasm often, very very often, and you could, you know, sometimes you can get it so that you can spam it like back-to-back turns, maybe 3 turns in a row, depending on how you have it set up. And that's really where this character shines, but obviously it takes a lot of effort and work to make that, you know, work very efficiently. It's not a bad concept though, and you know, once I get this character, I'll definitely be messing around with them to kind of make a team that specifically works with this. And I'm going to touch on it a little bit later, but I noticed some of you guys mentioned some stuff in the Iskander video, And like I said, I'll mention it a little bit, but I don't really focus on teams that much, and there's a reason for that, and I will explain it. But for now, her Noble Phantasm is pretty solid, and there is an interlude quest you can do to power this up, and this will also apply an effect that will decrease arts card resistance by a certain percent for 3 turns to a single enemy. And that's going to be a 20% decrease at level 1, and it's going to stay that way throughout the entire level chain. But that's pretty good. You're going to do more damage with your arts cards, and you're going to primarily use arts cards with this character, so it's definitely going to benefit you, and you're going to do more damage with this character overall. Okay, so moving on to some of the craft essences that you can use on this character. First up is their level 10 bond, and this is going to unlock the library for 100 craft essence. So while equipped, this will increase quick arts and buster card effectiveness of all allies by 8% while in the field. This is a pretty solid command card. So this is a pretty solid craft essence to use. You're going to be a universal booster for all 3 types. So that's really nice. Honestly though, it's a little bit misplaced with this character, and you probably won't see much play with it because you're definitely focusing on using this character for something else, and it's not increasing, the card's effectiveness of your allies. So outside of that though, you can use a few other craft essences, and they're probably recommended to use some of these over the bond craft essence. But first up is going to be Kaleidoscope. This is very useful because you might struggle to get that first Noble Phantasm off, and if you have a Kaleidoscope, especially a limit broken Kaleidoscope, where you can get that Noble Phantasm off turn 1, and then you can use all your extra stuff on turn 2 to keep the Noble Phantasm spam going, you're definitely going to set yourself up for a much easier time and make the fight that much easier. You could also use the Heaven's Feel to boost the damage of the Noble Phantasm, which, will be that much better. You're going to use that for a big hit, and you can use that for a little bit of an extra chunk of damage on top of that. Or you could go ahead and use Projection for the 15% increase to arts cards, or Formal Craft for the 25% increase to arts cards. So now moving on to the character and review portion of this character spotlight. And before I post anything, I'm just going to mention something that was talked about in the previous video of Iskander. A few of you have posted, and this isn't just happening in that video, a lot of people have been asking for it, where I talk about servants you can combo the one I'm talking about with, and I've held off on doing that for a few reasons, and that's primarily because when I get a servant, I like to mess around with other servants and make teams that way. And I really don't feel comfortable talking about the other servants that are out in the game that I don't have, so I can't test firsthand if those servants work or not. Yeah, sure, maybe on paper they look like a good combination, but until I physically get into the game and test them out myself, I really don't want to give suggestions to other people that, be like, hey, this character could work well with this character, so go pull for that character, and then only to find out that they don't actually work. So I've always been avoiding that, and I've also been holding off on it because I've been planning to make team videos after I finish all the character spotlights, so I was kind of just waiting for those videos to talk about it. You guys are right. I do understand where you guys are coming from, and like I said, I always do appreciate everything you guys post in the comments. You're always trying to help me improve, and I'm trying to listen to you guys and alter my content to, echo what you guys are saying. So I came to a pretty solid solution here, I think. So for the graphic, I changed it slightly, and I removed the craft essence portion of it, and I think that makes sense because I always talk about the craft essences in the video, and I always show them. So I don't really need to rehash that and put them on the graphic. So I got rid of that, and I replaced it with a top servant section. So this is just going to be a few servants that you could use. I won't really be talking in depth about them unless I firsthand have tested them, but it still gives you an idea of which characters you can use. And hopefully it helps you guys, and that's all I can really ask for. If these videos are helpful, then I've done my job, and I'm happy with that. So for the top servants, I do have Hans, Mozart, Waver, and Tamanonome, the caster version. And these are all really good servants to help boost Hassan's arts card effectiveness and get the Noble Phantasm gain going and get the Noble Phantasm spam started. They all do really good jobs with that. And they also can provide pretty good amount of crit stars for Hassan in the quick setup as well. So they just give you a lot of good options. Tamanonome is very good, especially because she can lower your cooldown of your skills and stuff, and that can also help in case you miss on your second skill. If you fail to get the boost for the whatever card you're looking for, the arts or the quick or the buster. If you lower your cooldowns, you can just use the skill faster, and then it's also going to help get your Noble Phantasm going even faster as well. So there's some pretty solid options there, and again, I'm only talking about the servants that are currently available in the game. But yeah, guys, I hope that's kind of a good compromise to what you guys have been asking for. I really don't want to make these videos like 30 minutes where I just talk about everything possible. If I do that, then it would just take me so much longer to get the videos out, and maybe some people might like that, but I like making 1 or 2 videos like every single day, and just have you guys something you can come on every single day and something to look forward to. So I do think this is a good compromise and something I could definitely hope to improve on in the future. But for now, I do think this is a nice start. So now moving on to the actual rankings. For stats, I'm giving Hassan a 3-star. You know, she's a 3-star servant, so it's about where she falls into line. And then for her skills, I'm giving her a 2.5 stars. She does have some really nice skills, but there's some huge drawbacks to a lot of the skills. The second one has only a chance to activate, and even that chance only has a chance of being the one you actually want. And then her third skill removes all buffs with the heals, so there's a whole lot of, you know, bad situations that you can get yourself into with her skills, so I really can't give her too much more than that. As for her Noble Phantasm, I'm giving them 3 stars, and this is including the interlude. Without the interlude, it would definitely be weaker and less stars, but being able to do more damage with arts cards with the Noble Phantasm, you know, that's really good, and I do think it deserves the 3 stars there. Moving on to survivability, I'm awarding them 2.5 stars. And this might seem a little weird because they have 2 skills that basically fit into survivability, but them being a 3-star servant with weaker stats to begin with, the second skill is very nice for survivability, I will give it that, but the third skill, you know, it's pretty unusable honestly, because it heals but it removes your buffs, so you're gonna have to be very situational on when you can use this skill. And sometimes you might just miss your opportunity and you'd rather just go for damage instead of healing yourself to get that 1 extra turn. And then for versatility, I'm giving them 2 stars. You definitely need a specific team setup in order to get this character to work properly, otherwise it's just going to be a hindrance to your team, which is unfortunate, but you know, sometimes that's just the way that is. However, if you do make a very good team setup, you can do some really cool things with this character, and I can't wait to make something like that happen on my game when I get this character. So overall, I'm giving Hassan a 2.6 out of 5. You know, definitely not an amazing servant, but definitely not a terrible servant either, and you can make some pretty interesting teams with them. And like I said, I can't wait until I get this character, because I do have 3 of those characters on that list that I have, so I'll definitely be able to make some teams with her and, you know, see its full potential come to life. So yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up this character spotlight. I'm sorry I ranted for a while about a few things, and I don't really know how long this video is, but I'm sure it's pretty lengthy. And I did kind of rush through it a bit at times so I can get to the topics I really wanted to talk about. But I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless, and I will see you guys probably not tomorrow, but I will see you guys on the 19th for the start of the Fate Excel Zero Order event, so I can make my character spotlight for the event character. I'll leave you guys here with Hassan's Noble Phantasm, and I'll see you guys next time.
Sabaniya!